Well, I did it. Here we are. Beachside Dreams. Boom. The first one. The first Beachside Dreams t-shirt. So yeah, this is an XL right here. But I think I did a pretty good job. I did learn something in the file. My signature is a little bit wasn't like filled out all the way, I guess. So it looks like it came up. I don't know if you can see that or not. But in any case, every single one did that, so I know it's in the file. It wasn't a transfer. But yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked. Pressed my own shirts up, and just did the smalls and XLs tonight. I'll do the rest tomorrow morning. I'm thinking about maybe doing a live stream and just kind of showing people how I do it, I guess. Can't stop burping. I hope I sell them. If not, I see a bunch of people. I made a post on Facebook, and people seem to be pretty stoked and want to buy one, and I'll put them on the shop, I guess, if they don't sell this weekend. So, and then I have to work on my sets. I got a 90-minute set for Friday and a 45-minute set on Saturday. So I got to go through and see what songs I want to play, and still deciding if I want to bust out Ableton, bring the laptop and have it all set up. Because I like playing to like a beat with bass and drums and stuff. I don't want to take away from the acoustic experience, but I do think it'd be cool to have like a beat. The show Friday is at Secrets in Ocean City, and it's their Christmas party. It's a free event, and every time I've done it, it's been a lot of fun. Just real cozy, and people wearing Christmas sweaters and in a good vibe, just good spirits. Pretty packed out. And then Saturday looks like it's possibly going to sell out, which is great. It's here at the State Theater in Havertide, where we did our Halloween show. It should be a good weekend, good fun weekend. And I was reading through the comments on my video from today or yesterday, if you're watching this now, but there's a guy on there talking about how he's been in the band for a long time, and he's been watching other bands just like blow by him, and he feels like they've been working hard, and it's been really rough, and he's kind of like falling out of love with it. And I really related with that, because it is a very real thing. My band's been around since 1995. We played our first show in 1996, and we didn't start touring until 2006. So it was like 11 years after the band formed, that we actually got on the road, because we just didn't know how to. We did play shows and stuff, but we weren't like touring, As far as the feeling of like watching other bands like blow by you and have, find success, and you're just kind of stuck. I totally relate with that, because I felt like that so many times, and I still do from time to time. I've seen bands that like blew by us, that started way after us. In my opinion, some of them didn't even put in half the work that we did. It's just based off good relationships that they had. And it's not saying that music was bad or anything. A lot of these bands that I know that are like really successful and like doing amphitheaters and stuff like that, their music is great. They're great bands, But I'm in a really great band, in my opinion. I feel like we have great songs. I feel like we have a good look. I feel like we put on like one of the best shows in the whole scene. I feel like our songs are even more accessible than a lot of the bands, And maybe that's part of the problem. I wondered about, like, for decades, I have written for the radio. Every time that I've tried to write a song, I have tried to make the biggest hooks, the biggest, like, melodies, the most sticky stuff that I can think of. The production, I've tried to make it, like, come in with that chorus right away, like, get to the chorus within like 30, 45 seconds of the intro, if not starting with the chorus, like things like that. All the techniques, We've released a bunch of great songs that way. We even got radio play in 2012 with our song Last Night. We were crushing it. We were all over the country getting on AAA stations, and then we got added to, I believe it was 6 major stations across the country. Our song was playing right alongside Green Day, Go TA, remember that song? Like Foo Fighters, we were right in the middle of all that stuff on these stations, and like it was going really well. And then in 2013, we shopped a couple more songs with our radio guy, and it just didn't really pick up, and things had started to change. And that's when, you started getting bands like the Lumineers and maybe like of Monsters and Men, I think. Also, there was M33 And, you know, just music was changing. Alternative rock was changing. And you know, I thought like, it's just not cool to play guitar in a rock song anymore. Like it's like rock is sort of like just changed, morphed into this other thing. And so radio didn't want any of this stuff. Our biggest song, Walk Away, it's the biggest song that we have. It's got over 40 million streams on Spotify by itself. Radio didn't want to play it. That's just how different things are now. After a while, you know, I kept doing that. I kept going. And then I started to realize, like, pitching the radio is just not working for us. As we got further into the scene and our American reggae rock scene, like, was growing and flourishing, we're playing these shows with these other bands, and I'm noticing that, like, the pop songs, the pop rock songs, like, they're not really hitting like a good groovy sort of like reggae tune, or like something that's like something that you just wouldn't hear on the radio. Something that wasn't like big and over the top, like it's just cool. And, you know, a lot of bands just kind of living down there. And, you know, melodies are still a thing, of course, you know, and obviously hooks, but it's a different kind of hook. It's hard to explain. I probably should have wrote this down. Maybe I could do a part 2 of this at some point, but like, and we've got these like radio songs, and we're coming out on stage looking polished, you know, clean shaven. We all had short styled hair, and like at one point we were wearing fucking V-necks. Sorry. I apologize for that. You know, there's other bands that we're playing with that just, they look like they just got out of bed. Long moppy hair, just like board shorts, you know, just the total look. And we didn't really necessarily have that. You know, we were like too clean cut maybe for some of these festivals and some of these tours we were going on. And we're playing our like radio songs, you know, and they're just not connecting like, you know, just a groovy like reggae rock tune or something would. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to stop trying to arrange and format my songs for radio. I think there's something about the way I write that the songs are still accessible in that way. But I don't know. I'm not so worried about getting to the hook within the first minute or 45 seconds or whatever. Like, I'm just not. Because the music needs to tell a story. And I think people want the story. They want the authenticity. And they're not worried about, they want a groove. They want something they can dance to. Something that just sounds cool to their ears, you know. We'll get to the hook when we get there. And the hook is going to be big and melodic like I always do it. But like I said, I still just have a thing. Just how I write like radio style, like big chorus songs, things like that. But I also know how to write a good reggae rock song, something that just grooves along, doesn't change that much, you know. And I don't know, music is subjective. We all know that. And but as far as, you know, as catching on like on the national stage, I'm not too worried about that anymore. Not much at all, honestly. It will be great. Obviously, it would be great, but you can absolutely live a very successful life without being on the radio and all over the award shows and stuff like that. You don't have to do that. Honestly, that'd probably be kind of annoying. You can absolutely build an awesome fan base of people that just love music. Even when you're singing the songs about the bad times, it connects with them and they feel it. Because I think we're all a little bit troubled in some way, to some degree. We need something to fill that. We need something to tell our story. You know, sometimes we need other people to tell our story for us, so we can relate to it. I think that's why we gravitate to music and lyricists, and you know, they're telling a story that we just relate to so hard, and that's why music is just beautiful and awesome, and that's why it should cost more, and artists should get paid more for writing these songs, because music is, what would you do without music? To me, music is so important. I feel like it's a part of our DNA. I think it's a part of what we do. The earth vibrates. Every vibration is a note. Music is just in us. Everything vibrates. You can't hear it, you know, but they have instruments. They can hear these. They can tell everything vibrates. And music is just no different. Playing on a guitar, playing drums, it's the same thing. So I'm just going to keep writing songs the way I want to write. And I know that there's an audience for it. I know there's people that want to hear it. I'm always going to put my best foot forward. I'm never going to put out junk, you know, just for the sake of putting out music, putting out a song or whatever. We live in a singles world now. We live in an algorithm based, you know, algorithm driven model. It is what it is. The music will be ready when it's ready. In a perfect world, I would have 10 songs ready to go to drop as singles over the next year, and then another 12 cooking for a record. If I could write that fast, if I could be that prolific all the time, I would love that. I would love to drop music all the time, but for me, it doesn't work like that. So that's not to say I'm not going to keep trying. I'm absolutely going to keep trying to write and batch songs, and you know, I'll start with one thing, I'll move on to the next one. You guys saw my composition book in yesterday's vlog. It's just, it starts with a line, and then I'm like, oh, roadblock. Oh, something else though that has nothing to do with this. So I'll flip the page, start another one. That's how it goes, you know, and that's life. So if you're a songwriter out there and you're dealing with the same kind of thing, it's not that serious. It'll happen when it'll happen. Try to find inspiration wherever you can. Write down every little line that comes into your head. Grab your phone, type it in your notes, put it in your voice memo. If you have a pen and a notebook, write it down in the notebook. But take the inspiration when you can get it, and it'll be ready when it's ready, you know? So that's my rant. See you all in the next one. Like and subscribe.